Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I know that for some reason my depot shot video got quite a bit of views, and I got quite a bit of people actually asking me to give an update. I actually uploaded that video February, I think 22nd of 2019. So it's almost been a full year since that video, so I figured I could come on here and give you guys kind of a short update on what it's like after being off the depot shot, any symptoms I'm still having, all of that, just because I said I would give you guys an update, and then I will give you another update later on in life whenever I start trying to conceive to have kids, which will be in the next couple years. Hopefully that's the plan, but you know, you never know. Things could go not the way that you want them to. Like I said, I filmed that video in February and uploaded it. At that point, I had just recently got my periods back. In that video, I actually talked about how I stopped the depot shot. I think my last shot was July 25th of 2018. So it'll be 2 years come this July. So it's been about a year and a half since getting off the shot completely. And basically that video, if you haven't watched it, which you should go watch that first before this, but basically like short version of that video is I said all the symptoms I had while I was on the shot, and then I talked about all the symptoms that I got when I was getting off the shot. And it's a pretty intense experience, and I had a ton of people comment on there saying that they had the exact same experiences and that they went through the same type of symptoms, and it made me feel a lot less alone. So it was really nice to have that and to feel validated, which is kind of why I posted the video to begin with, because I know a lot of people felt crazy and like their doctors weren't listening to them and like their symptoms were just made up. But in reality, there's a ton of us who have had the same exact symptoms and experiences while on the depot shot. So I always tell people, don't get the depot shot if you have the opportunity not to, just because of the possible symptoms. Now, like I said in my other video, everybody's body reacts to things differently. So just because I had a bad experience, it doesn't mean that everyone will. It's just a pretty good percentage of people that I've talked to and that have messaged me and commented on my video have said that they have the exact same experiences. So to me, that correlation equals causation in my opinion, but I'm not a medical professional. There's not a lot of depot shot research out there. Anyway, so we're gonna move on to my symptoms a year and a half later after being off the shot. So I went ahead and just kind of like skimmed through that video so that I could have a general idea of the symptoms that I was having in that moment in February. So I'm going to start off by just talking about my cycle. I have a regular cycle now, and ever since that video, ever since that cycle of my period, like my whole cycle has been the exact same thing. I said I was basically on my period for 4 days, and that's been that way ever since getting off the depot shot. It's only 4 days long. First couple days are stronger than the last couple of days. I'm actually on my period now, which is kind of what made me think about making this video. So I'm on day 3 of being on my period. I still have cramps. I get breakouts. Honestly, this month I didn't have too many breakouts. However, even though I didn't get breakouts on my face, I do have an autoimmune disease, and it causes me to have flares when I'm on my period. So really that's the only negative to not having the depot shot anymore, because when I was on the depot shot, my autoimmune disease was basically gone. I very rarely got flare-ups, but now that I'm off the shot, it's like clockwork. Every single time, it's like right before my period starts, I break out terribly, and yeah. So that sucks, but I mean, the cons versus the pros, it's like the pros outweigh the cons. So yeah, my cycles are back to normal, so I'm hoping that that means everything is working correctly. My periods have changed drastically from the time that I started my period to getting on the shot to getting off the shot. When I started my period, I had very, very strong periods, and they were for very long amounts of time. It was like 6-7 days. The first 4 or 5 days were just bleeding horribly. I had to literally change my tampon like every single couple of hours, and now I can go like an extended amount of time. So that I really enjoy about my periods, but I do wonder why it changed my menstrual cycle. I hope that that doesn't mean it did anything or caused any severe damage to my uterus and my uterine lining. But I mean, until I start trying to conceive, I don't really know that update. But I mean, I'm praying to God that it didn't do anything to my reproductive system, but I know that there's a lot of stories and people were commenting on there that they had children before, they got on the depo shot afterwards, and they could not conceive after that. Now, whether that was from genetics, their eggs getting bad because they were aging, I don't know. It could be because of the depo, and it could not be. There's no proof in what I've seen that says yes or no to that question. So that's a little scary. But one of the symptoms that I said that I had after stopping the shot was hair loss, and I'm still experiencing that quite a bit. Honestly, I just showered and like my hairbrush gets full of hair every single time that I brush my hair, and when I'm in the shower I'm pulling out like chunks and chunks and chunks of hair. I don't know if that's just because my hair sheds a lot or because I'm like having my hair thinning because I'm getting older, or if it's because of the depo shot. That is a symptom of the shot, is hair loss. Nevertheless, hair loss is still there. I don't have any bald patches or anything that I know of. I still have like a ton of hair, like a lot of hair, so that's not a problem. I'm not like having a ton of hair loss, but I'm still having like a significant amount to where it's like every time I brush my hair, when I shower, after I shower, it's like full of hair. And yeah, it's gross, and my hair gets everywhere all over the house, and it's all over our clothes, and like gets in the dryers. I have to like pull my hair out of my clothes, so it's like not okay. But I mean, I don't know if that's just a me thing or if that's like from the depo still. Can't really tell. The next thing that I was talked about in my video after stopping the shot was about weight loss. I talked about how as soon as I got off the shot, I basically dropped weight pretty easily, and then around the holidays I gained it all back. Right now I have not necessarily tried in the last year and a half to really lose weight. I've mostly just been focusing on going to the gym whenever I can and trying to eat healthy. I haven't like hard set actually tried to lose weight, but the last couple of weeks after the holidays I've kind of cut back on food, not starving myself. I'm eating like 1900 calories a day. I calculated my basal metabolic rate and I'm eating above that range, so I'm not starving myself or anything, but because I've cut back a little bit and I'm not eating as much and indulging in the holiday food, I have lost weight, and it came off pretty easy. And even while I was on my period this month, I didn't gain that weight back, when usually I'm on my period I actually gain a couple of pounds. But this week I didn't for some reason, so I don't think that my weight is as much of an issue anymore regarding weight loss. I can lose weight now a lot easier than I could even 6 months ago, but it's just a matter of me actually putting in the time, effort, and work to do that and to become healthier. So that's my goal for 2020. But weight loss definitely has gotten much easier, as easy as it can get. It's not easy to lose weight, but my body can actually do it, is what I guess I'm trying to say. Before, it was very hard for me to lose weight. But yeah, basically while I was on the shot, it made me very hungry all the time, and I felt like I could never get full, so that's why I overate, and probably a lot of trauma and childhood crap that made me eat my feelings, and so I gained a lot of weight. So that's kind of what happened. But I mean, I was like the heaviest I ever was like 2 months ago, so I've lost about 10 pounds since then, but I mean nothing drastic, nothing where you can like tell yet, but hopefully down the line that'll be a thing that happens. But I mean beyond that, I can lose weight, thankfully. Now it's just a matter of putting the effort into doing it. Next, I talked about how I had a little bit of breast tenderness still at that point a year and a half ago. That's completely gone, even when I get my period. No breast tenderness, even when I get my periods, except for like the very, very rare occasion. It's like very rare, and it's only like a couple of hours, if that. I think it's even like right before I start my period. It's not even when I'm on my period. My breasts do get like sensitive, but they don't hurt like they did. Like whenever I got off the shot, like that first 3 months, it was like insane amounts of pain. I have never felt something like that in my life. It was bad, and I think that it was just like the peak. From what I've read, it's like a peak of estrogen, because your body goes from no estrogen to having like tricking your body into thinking that you don't need a cycle, and then all of a sudden your body's saying, oh crap, you haven't shed your lining, you haven't have a period, you haven't done this, your hormones are wrong, and it just like attacks your body with, it doesn't attack, it just like shoots your body up with a ton of estrogen to overcompensate. So that's why your breasts hurt. So fatigue was another thing that I talked about. I was always tired. I literally never slept. And when I did sleep, it was ridiculous times for ridiculous amounts of hours. It was either one extreme over the other. I was either never sleeping or I was sleeping way too much. I would sleep like 12-hour days and still be tired. My sleep schedule was so messed up. It was just not a good time for my body because I was up literally all night long. And then I would work 6 to 2, and then I would sleep from like 2 to 8 p.m. And then from 8 p.m. to like 2 p.m. the next day I'd be awake. It was just a vicious cycle that I could not break. Thankfully, I can announce that I have broken that. I can sleep. I'm not exhausted all the time. I still feel pretty fatigued, but not to the extent it was. I think the fatigue is more from my autoimmune disease than the depot shot and that what it's done to my body. So, I mean, I don't ever feel like refreshed. I don't ever wake up in the morning if I get like 8 hours of sleep like, wow, that was good. I'm good. I always feel tired, and it takes me like 3-4 hours to actually wake up and like function. So if I wake up at like 8:30, I'm not actually like able to function fully and be awake until like 11:30, if that makes any sense. So the next thing I want to mention that I don't remember if I mentioned in my previous video is hip and pelvis pain. I will disclose that I had to do physical therapy while I was in high school. I think it was my sophomore and junior year of high school, because my hips kind of, one of them turned in or something, and it made one of my legs a little bit longer than the other. I don't know the science of it, but basically that's what happened. And so I had a lot of pain in my back and hips and everything, but I've really noticed over the last couple of years that my hips and my pelvis have a lot of pain in them, and I really hope it's not because of osteoporosis or the breakdown of the bone. That to me scares me, because women are already more likely to have osteoporosis and get a broken hip. So the depo can have long-term effects on your body in that regard, especially if you're on it for a long time. And a lot of women who commented on that video said that their doctors told them absolutely no, you cannot be on the shot more than 2 years, and then you have to take a certain amount of years break because of how much it can affect your body and your bones. So that to me scares me, that as I age I could potentially run into osteoporosis and have muscle breakdown and have bone breakdown because of that. So that's a little concerning. So I don't know if the hip pain is due to my back and hips being out of place again, or if it's because of the depo shot, but I do know that that's a common symptom. So it's kind of hard for me just because I can't ever really tell, and I don't ever like going to the doctor. So it's like I need to probably go to the doctor and get my hips checked just to make sure, or at least the chiropractor, and have him do some x-rays and pop me back in place if I need it, and see if that's what is the problem, or if it's another problem like actually deep down into the bone, not like where the bones are placed, if that makes sense at all. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about is that I'm not on any birth control at all as of right now, still to this day. So a year and a half ago when I got off the shot, I just decided I don't want to be on anything. So I have not been on birth control, have not had any hormones in my body for over a year. And that's just the way that I like it right now. I feel confident. I feel confident that I'm not going to get pregnant. I know my body, and my body has a very regular cycle, so I know when I'm ovulating, and when I'm ovulating, then you don't have intercourse, and that's how you don't get pregnant. It's like, I guess they call it natural family planning, I think is what they call it. I don't follow that. I'm not like anti-birth control. I think that birth control is a great thing, but for me and my body, I personally don't want any of that stuff in my body, just because of the experience that I've had with the depo shot. Maybe later on in the future I will get on the pill, but I mean right now I don't think it's necessary. So that's really the update. I am overwhelmed with the amount of comments that people had and the experiences, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who did watch that video, and I'm so sorry for some of the people who commented on there who have been having awful experiences with the depo and who are getting off the depo shot and are having horrible symptoms. I have a cousin who was on the depo shot for about as long as I was, I think like a year or two after I was on the shot she started, and she recently just stopped as well, and she has been off and on bleeding for like 3 or 4 months since stopping, and it's not stopping. She has bad cramping, and that is one thing that I experience. I have really bad cramping the first couple of days and then little cramping throughout my period, but she's having pretty intense cramping and pretty intense periods that are kind of random and sporadic throughout the next couple of months. So I would just prepare yourself for that. Luckily, I did not have the experience. So yeah, I basically had the opposite of that, where I didn't have a period for I think about 7 months from July to February. So some people have that experience and some people don't. Just don't expect to have the same symptoms and reactions that I did, because like I said in the beginning of the video, everybody's body is individualistic and you react to hormones and birth control completely different than I do because we have different bodies. So yeah, but I just wanted to come on here and give you guys a little bit of an update. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I tried to reply to as many people as I could in that comment section. I'm still slowly replying, so if you get a reply to me that you commented like 3-4 months ago, I'm sorry. I want to reply back to every single person that replies to my channel because I think that's important, and I want to make sure that you know that you have been heard. So I do go and heart everybody's comments just so that you know that I have seen it. I will go and heart it, and then I will later on go through my comment section and comment back to all the people that I have not commented back yet, just so that I can reply to everyone and make sure that everyone feels validated. If you haven't already seen that video, I will link it down below, or I'll put it in the cards. I don't know which one yet. Right now I have 2 strikes on my channel, so I don't know what I can or cannot do. So hopefully that's still a possibility. I don't know if YouTube changed their policies about like what they can do with their uploads. If you have strikes on your channel, who knows, but hopefully those will be taken care of in the next couple of days. But yeah, I will update you guys on that later. So I'm gonna go though. So thank you guys so much for watching. May all your stars align, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.